Hi, folks. Um, I'm, I'm mostly on Facebook anymore instead of YouTube, and I want to address my packing. Uh, Folks over there said I pack in the kitchen sink and lots and lots of baggage, that kind of stuff. I have underseat storage, and this is a Suzuki Bergman 400, by the way. Heavy stuff goes in here, and I've got stuff in here that I guarantee you're not going to find anywhere else on any Suzuki motorcycle. And you get to see my knees. Oh well. I'm in Texas and it'll be 97 degrees later today. My dash said 99 briefly yesterday, so I'm trying to stay cool. Uh, the heavy stuff here, tools. I've got a, I've got an air compressor. It's a little bitty one, but it's powerful. I keep my tires tuned up with it. I have a little toolkit and the standard toolkit that comes with this scooter. But what you won't find in anybody else's uh, scooter gear is a little silversmithing shop. I don't have a lot of capabilities, but I can do a lot of stuff with just a few tools, a couple of hammers, a little anvil, a bench block actually, but you'd know it as an anvil. Um, I also try to stay in touch. I'm not trying to get off into the wilderness and be away from it all. I'm traveling and I'm going different places and I'm staying in touch with family. For that reason, I've got a Starlink in here and a battery pack for it. That's pretty heavy. I've also got a full-sized paper Bible. That's that alone is, you might think that weighs quite a bit, and it does. And I would say that's at least half of the weight of what I carry, because the rest of the stuff is ultralight backpacking gear for the most part. But I've got a couple of saddlebags, and these look massive. They're 20-liter each, and they're waterproof. They're a saddlebag that I guess they probably originated with dry bags that you use for canoeing and that sort of activity, water activities. I have one clip, a carabiner on each side. That's it, I'm done. They will stay in place. They're not terribly secure, but they don't really have to be. But on this side, I have a blanket, uh, an inflatable air mattress. I used to have a pillow, uh, but that thing wasn't worth having. It was an inflatable pillow, and it was recommended, of course. Uh, it worked okay. The trip I took a month or so ago. This trip, it just leaked completely. I guess it couldn't take the heat. I don't have any other explanation for it. But I've got my nighttime shelter and warmth over here. I've got a two pygmy tent, and I roll it up and I attach it on top of here. Over on this side, This is where I keep my clothing. I've got including what I'm wearing, I pack 3 change of clothes, which I know most people don't go that excessive. And I've also got 6 pair of underwear and 6 pair of socks. And you may say that's excessive. My last trip was 42 days. This trip, I'll be only half that, but that's still about 3 weeks. And you can't, I want to be fairly sanitary. So I pack a little more clothes than I suppose what most people do. But I've also got a sweater in there. And if it were cold, I'd be also putting a jacket in there at least part of the time. And so I've got shelter and bedding and clothing taken care of. There's a lot of other stuff I want too. That's where this tail bag comes in. And tied onto the back of it in this compression sack, I've got a full set of rain gear in here. And I can ride all day in the rain, and I will get a little damp around my neck, assuming it's not too hot to wear. If it's too hot, I don't wear any rain gear. Over here I've got electronics, such as this headset I'm wearing right now, an inflator for my mattress, and mostly charging cables, little power brick, not a power brick, but the wall wart, I forget what you call it, the thing you plug in to get power. I've got the same pocket over on the other side, and I keep that's my medicine cabinet. Well, toothbrush, toothpaste, a salve, I don't know what else, mouthwash, Kleenexes, that sort of thing. And then tied onto it, I have this little gizmo here, and that's a Garmin Mini something or another. It tells people who might care where I'm at. And it's also got that SOS button on it that's supposed to bring in the helicopters if I need it. In the main part of my bag is where I keep my kitchen and utility drawer. And to keep them organized, I use plastic bins. This has got, here's my cooking pot. The stove's inside. And yes, this is a 1-cup coffee grinder. And I keep coffee beans in here. And there's also a little grill here on the bottom. I can grill a steak if I wanted to, if I had a fire. But I don't normally light a fire. I also keep my vitamins and my knife and spoon and fork and that sort of thing in here. I've got another one where I keep a thermocell and just a few supplies for manicure. I break my fingernails really easily. I guess I'm getting older. But I keep things to take care of personal care in that. And I've got a plate in here that I haven't used yet. And then this is my shower bag. I've got shampoo, a bar of soap, Q-tips, that sort of thing. Got a roll of toilet paper. There are a couple other things in there, but that's pretty much everything. If I had a smaller bag, it would look like I was being less excessive, but it would also be more difficult to get in and get stuff. But I put my shower shoes in here. Uh, I've got an extension cord because when you plug in at a campsite, you need to stop at electric sites or find some way to charge up your business fairly often. Um, and you'd be surprised how much stuff you have to keep charged. Uh, I keep my Garmin charged. I keep my phone charged, keep my headset charged. I forgot to charge my helmet. I need to do that before I go anywhere. Uh, and yeah, you charge a helmet up if you're not into motorcycling. You might not think about that, but a speaker, you've seen the people riding baggers that have got the massive speakers and they're blasting their music off to everybody. I don't do that. I keep it private. And mostly I listen to YouTube, uh, not music. Uh, but it looks like there's a lot of stuff here. This the top bag, I tie it down with with 4 attachment points. 2 attachment points under the seat, and then 2 attachment points behind the passenger panic grip things. I've also got a little dash bag, and I keep snacks in there, and I keep a pair of sunglasses. Uh, the snacks will melt if they can, they will, because it gets hot. Um, I have a water bottle with filter. That's all part of it. And then I tie my food bag up here, and my food bag's just a bag about that big. I've got a bear-proof food bag. Not that I need it very often, but I usually use most campsites will have a pole. This one doesn't, so I have a piece of cord in a little bag, and I use it for all sorts of things. But right now I've got my food bag hanging from the top of this shelter. It looks like a lot, but really there's not a lot in there. If you consider that I'm going to be gone for this time about 3 weeks. Um, most of the time I guess that's about average for a trip for me. About 3 weeks. You'd be surprised if you want to be comfortable. Yeah, there's no reason to rough it. Actually, yeah, you are roughing it, but um, I like good coffee. So for me, my splurge item is that little coffee grinder, I would say. Some people might say the Starlink, but I sometimes I go places where there's no signal, and I don't want to be out of touch with those that I care about. Now I can do text messaging a little bit with that Garmin, but it's a pain in the neck, and it's little short messages. It's not a good option for staying in touch. And if something goes on, I want my family to be able to reach me. Uh, so I added the battery. The battery adds a lot of weight to that Starlink. I mean, it triples the weight of it. But I don't have to have any electricity at all, and I can still have satellite or internet access. I can also use that battery as my power brick for charging other things as needed. And it's big enough, it's got a lot of power. So I don't carry a second brick. I don't feel a need to. Um, some things, eh, Jack, outlawed camper, says one is none and two is one and one is none. A lot of times I have two of something. I've got a backup, but on the power I don't, because I can usually within a few hours get back into where I can have access to the internet and power and things like that. But anyway, that's my setup as far as how I carry stuff. Oh, I don't need to go into the individual things that I bring actually, but overall, I'm set up to be comfortable for weeks on end. I carry enough food for, I'd be okay for about 3 days. Uh, I need to find some coffee beans, but I buy as I go along. And yeah, think what you will. I stop at Walmart about every day. Uh, and yesterday, my Walmart trip, I got a salad because I don't have any refrigeration here. So I stop and get anything that needs to be refrigerated. I buy that on a daily basis. And I try to have a salad at least every few days to get a few greens because a lot of times I'm eating trail mix and things like that. Anyway, this is getting long.